offensive categories. We were talking before they came on the air. I actually kind of think they're underranked at 10th.
I believe so.
Probably a little bit better than that. Swing and a miss by Falvey. And it's 1-2.
They just do so many things well. Not only do they get players on base, they move them around, they have the power numbers to support that, and then of course they play great defense, and their pitching staff has done phenomenal this year.
Falvey showing bunt here on a 1-2 count. Now she pulls back and takes down and in for ball 2.
So Falvey's using that technique to kind of slow herself down. She's showing that square around so that she has to then bring it back. It's kind of a swaying technique for, especially for the, if you feel like you're too fast, you're making decisions too fast.
To go to it again, Marine's 2-2 pitch. Just outside, 3-2.
Good miss there by Hannah. She started out in the zone. She's starting to work wider. That's where she finds her success, is not missing too big, especially when she's up in the count.
Payoff pitch, foul back to the screen, and a good battle early between Kendra Falvey and Hannah Marine. Falvey out of Odessa, Florida. Was all SEC second team last year. She hit .403. She is on track to improve on virtually all of her numbers from a season ago. Payoff pitch, just outside for ball 4. Falvey taking a risk, taking that pitch, and it pays off. She's on with the base on balls.
It's a good at bat on both sides. Hannah missed a little bit on the outside, it looked like, or at least according to our illustrious umpire. Last thing you want to do, though, is put Falvey on first.
Stetson defense, a lot of good defensive players on this Hatter team.
Yeah, a lot of good surprises this year. Freshmen have come in and made a difference right away.
Yeah, Foster's been fantastic, both at the top of the lineup and at shortstop, as Skylar Wallace takes a strike. Wallace, one of the best all-around players in the country, hitting .484, 23 extra base hits in 93 at-bats. She's slugging .946 with 8 home runs. Takes outside for ball 1.
And she's got a couple of stolen bases on top of all that. And plays a spectacular shortstop. What great hands and a good arm, quick release. What more could you ask for?
Absolute superstar. Bounces this one back up the middle, and Hannah Marine gets Wallace. 1-3 on the putout as Falvey goes down to second. Count that as a win for the Stetson Ace.
Yeah, Hannah's defense behind her was talking to her the whole way to go to 1. I think, you know, Falvey's a little quick to chance that exchange at second.
Here's Corby Otis, transfer from Louisville, who is one of the nation's leaders in walks, hitting .442, 35 walks to 9 strikeouts for Corby Otis this year. Florida generally posts video game numbers. As an announcer, it's a lot of fun to just tell you the statistics on some of these players.
They have such a good offensive system when their players come in. You know, they take what they do naturally, but they develop that throughout their career at Florida.
There's a hot shot grounder, backhanded by Foster, and a beautiful throw across the diamond to retire Otis. There's a little glimpse of what we were talking about with Addison Foster over there at shortstop. 2 out as Falvey goes to third.
Yeah, again, Falvey's speed gets her to the next base, but Stetson made the routine play look routine, and so now you have 2 outs. You do have that runner at third, but you do have 2 outs.
Here's Jocelyn Erickson. Another huge power bat in this order, and there are a few more to come. Erickson hitting .431, 8 home runs, 51 RBI, one of the top marks in the country.
Yeah, with the absence of Falvey, that's everybody else has multiple home runs.
Yes. Reagan Walsh, the team leader, is due up next. She has 12, batting out of the 5-hole.
And this is what you're looking at when you're looking at top D1 programs. You're not, we're not talking about, high school ball here. We're not talking about travel ball even, where you're concerned about the, the top of the order or the heart of the order for your power numbers, that kind of thing. top-level Division I softball, especially your SEC, Pac-12, Pac whatever they are these days.
Well, they're going to put up a 0 here in the first inning. Hannah Marine works around the leadoff walk and gets 3-15-3, a 1.51 earned run average. She faces Addison Foster, another freshman who leads off for the Hatters and takes high for ball 1.
Yeah, Tim Walton does what Tim Walton does. He goes out and gets not just good players, but spectacular players. And like we were talking about with the offense, just further developing them. Of course, they do that on the defensive side of the ball as well.
When they got this class committed, they had 3 of the top 4 players in the country at the time of their signing.
It's a dream class, especially today with the transfer portals and the COVID 5th and 6th years and all of that. It's just been a dream or a nightmare.
And this will be the final season of that.
Yes.
Everyone from both the 20 and 21 classes will be leaving after this year. So to have this group, I mean, their top 2 pitchers are the top 2 players in the country coming in as freshmen. And you don't transfer out of Florida for the most part if you're succeeding at Florida. So you've got...
Yeah, if you're getting playing time, you're staying.
Yeah, so you've got the idea of having these players for the next 4 years as your staple players. And Rothrock, I mean, her ERA was just over 1. She had a rough weekend last weekend. She strikes out Foster here for the first out, where she got rocked in the first Saturday game against Mississippi State. But this is more what we're used to so far with Keegan Rothrock.
Yeah, she's just has so much tight spin on her ball. It moves this ever slightly so much right at the end. Makes it hard to square it up.
He's the other big exciting freshman for Stetson, Madeline Sinaraki, hitting .326 on the year with 9 stolen bases. This is a school that has always played fast. They've always had players that are very good at getting on base and causing havoc when they get there. Sinaraki appears to be cut from that cloth, as does Foster. Tough assignment today, though. Riser misses high from Rothrock. Rothrock last weekend against Mississippi State gave up 8 runs in 5 innings in the first game. They ended up losing 13-12. But she came back and pitched a pretty good game 3, ended up getting the win. Big cut and a miss. This is more velocity, I think, than the Hatters are used to seeing at this point in the season.
Well, velocity, and I think her movement is just a little bit sharper as well. You know, there's difference in sharp movement and swaying movement, and you're seeing it just pop a little bit more close to the plate. As a pitcher, you're trying to get the ball to break as close to the plate as you can, not over the plate, obviously, but within 18 to 12 inches of the front of the plate. And a lot of pitchers, even if they have the spin, their pitches break too early or too late.
Good play at third by Reagan Walsh to throw out Sinaraki. A couple of good at-bats for the Hatters. Cousins has come in, and really over the last years of Frank Griffin's tenure as the head coach is finding enough scoring. Stetson this year, an up-and-down season so far offensively, as Freeman fouls off the first pitch. She came in from Presbyterian as the big portal addition, and she's done well, but maybe is not quite hit for the power that you would have hoped with her resume coming in. Still putting up one of the best slugging percentages on the team. A team that has just not hit a whole lot of home runs this year.
Yeah, Stetson really hasn't put up good home run numbers since probably the 13-14 year range. It's kind of been a steady decline. As you said, relying a lot on speed and scrappiness. I do think.
0-2 to Freeman. Down and in.
Yeah, if you're a Florida fan, you gotta feel pretty good about the future when you have your top 2 pitchers who are, not just top 2 on your team, but top 2 in the region, top 2 in the NCAA in their stats. That's got to bode well for you going forward.
As rookies,
yeah,
it is.
As a pitching coach, you got to be pretty comfortable.
Yeah, truly remarkable.
Just don't screw them up.
Yeah, I mean, even by the standards of a Tim Walton recruiting class, this one appears to be special. Rothrock and Ava Brown, who was, by the way, a two-way player. She's the DP today and is hitting over 300 with 8 home runs in her freshman season, as well as being would be the ace of almost every other staff in the country. 1-2 to Laith Freeman from the top freshman Rothrock. Grounded through the hole, a base hit, and it's Stetson with the game's first hit. Laith Freeman going the other way against Keegan Rothrock.
Yeah, Laith does a good job of just going with this outside pitch, not trying to do too much when she's late in the count. Just got her barrel on it, was able to drive it through the 3-4 hole there. Speaking of the 3-4 hole, you'll see that they put the aforementioned Brown over on first base, switched her and Bailey Goddard in the first base DP positions.
Here's Annabella McLaren. First pitch is down and in, 1-0. McLaren, 256, 2 home runs, 378 on base percentage. That's second on the team behind only Addison Foster. Shown an improved eye at the plate in her sophomore season.
I think her eye was actually really good her freshman year as well, but not for this level. Like, I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like she knew what she was seeing, but she was underestimating the zone at this level.
Got a pitch to hit there on 2-0, just missed it a little bit.
So I think she's helped herself this year in being a little bit more aggressive, kind of expanding her zone a little bit. She still typically waits for a strike, but she's more appropriately aggressive this year.
2-1. Just inside, and McLaren ahead 3-1 on Rothrock, who has kind of nibbled so far in this first inning, and a 3-ball count to Foster.
She has.
There were a lot of pitches to Sinaraki, now a 3-1 count to McLaren.
She's nibbled more than I thought she would, especially after the strikeout of Foster. I thought she would just be kind of pouring them in and see what you got.
Ground ball up the middle, but perfectly positioned for Williams to flip to Wallace and retire Freeman for the fielder's choice. So it's top of the first. They're not used to being set down quite so easily. See if they can show a little more teeth here in the second inning as Walsh takes a strike from young Stetson ace Hannah Marine. Rothrock and Brown get a lot of press. We got a pretty good one here in DeLand too.
And Hannah Marine, that's for sure.
0-1 pitch, just outside.
And really an impressive thing about Hannah is she's so unassuming. You know, she's just quiet on the mound, does her job. She smiles, she's appropriately excited at times, but she's just very even-keeled.
1-1. Popped her up. Stan fell over for a look, but that'll get into the stands. And a nice catch made by a Gator fan down there on the third base line. You bring the glove to the game,
the ball will find you.
You might get to use it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's 1-2 to Reagan Walsh. Walsh, massive power. There's not a lot of teams where an .851 slugging percentage would rank you third, but she's on one. Here's a 1-2. That's in the dirt.
It's always nice to be on a team where people are better than you. You know, what better thing to motivate you than having people a little bit better numbers, a little bit better power, a little bit better speed. Gives you a challenge every day.
Bouncer up the middle, and Walsh has the first Florida hit of the game.
Walsh pulls this one a little bit. It's an outside pitch. She kind of rolls over it, but gets the benefit of the big hop over the mound for the first hit for the Gators of the day. Nothing you can do about that as the Hatters defensively.
So here is a young woman who had a huge game against the Hatters a few weeks ago, Katie Kistler. Career high 5 RBI and 3 runs scored in that first meeting between the two teams up in Gainesville back on March 13th. That was an 11-2 5-inning Florida win.
That's a full week for some people. A good week, too.
Yeah, Kistler for the year has 31 runs batted in, hitting .378. Not from too far away from here, Orange Park.
Yeah, I think they have 6 or 8 Florida players on their roster.
Oak Leaf High School graduate. It's about a half hour away from DeLand.
Yeah. It's always nice to see the big programs that recruit from around their area, as well as, you know, across the country and internationally. You have some that, you know, just totally 100% recruit from California,
and Tim
Arizona.
Walton had no real ties to Florida before coming to UF, and of course that was a long time ago now that he's been there, became the head coach in 2006. Here's a line shot by Kistler, and she continues to hit against the Hatters. Walsh will stop at second as McLaren gets the throw in, but the Gators are cooking here, first and second with nobody out.
And that's the first real good contact the Gators have had off of Hannah today. That pitch just sits a little bit big. I think it's supposed to be a screwball to get to the outside part of the plate, and it just sat a little fat, and she scorched it to center.
And now the other freshman. She would not be the other freshman on any other team. Ava Brown has been fantastic, both in the circle and at the plate in this, her rookie season.
It'll be fun to watch these freshmen through the 4 years on both teams, see how they continue to develop and lead their teams.
Yeah, Stetson certainly got a couple pretty good ones as well between Addison Foster and Madeline Sinaraki. Brown takes a strike from Marine, who was the big freshman last year for Stetson. In a jam here, though, with first and second and nobody out. The 0-1. That ball is bounced towards third, but just foul. Giannapoli would have had the out at first, but did not stay in play. Brown in the circle is 13-2 with a .219 earned run average. At the plate, she's hitting .313 with 8 home runs and 25 RBI. She has appeared in all but one game for Florida, either in the field, in the circle, or both. Takes inside on 0-2. That didn't miss by much.
Yeah. I think Jordan Stanfield wanted that one behind the plate. She motioned to Coach Taylor over there that it was just inside.
The 1-2. Popped up. Foster out behind third. Back in on the dirt, makes the catch. The infield fly roll was in effect. And a big first out for Hannah Marine here in the second inning.
Definitely a big out, non-productive out, if you will, for Miss Brown. And when she pops it up and runners aren't able to advance, not even threaten to advance. That's good for the Hatters. Not so good for the Gators at the moment. But it doesn't get any easier as you keep going.
As a strike to Mia Williams, who is a third freshman on this team. Williams was the number 4 player in her class as a high school junior. Did not have a great senior season. And is hitting just .179 as a college player, but a ton of talent there. And plays a great second base. One to grow on for the Gators.
Yeah, her numbers aren't showing it yet. But she's going to be one to deal with.
They're going to call a ball.
I think the time
on
limit.
Marine for the timer. So it's 1-1 now to Williams. That one's in the dirt. Good block by Stanfield to keep the runners where they were.
Yeah, Patricia Wilson does not yet have a visible timer on her complex. I imagine that's coming next year.
2-1, grounded to short, could be 2. No, they'll just take the 1 out. A smart play again by Foster over there at shortstop. As Walsh goes down to third, Kistler to second with 2 out. Not easy to double up the Florida Gators, and Foster makes a good decision.
Absolutely. If in doubt, take the out.
So here's Bailey Goddard, getting her 13th start of the year. She's certainly earning more playing time. 12 of 34. 8 of those 12 hits for extra bases, including 5 home runs. That'll get you back in the lineup. She's also had 10 hit by pitches in less than 50 plate appearances. So not a whole lot of fear from Bailey. She's ahead 2-0 on Marine.
I don't think you even get a uniform if you show any signs of fear.
Yeah. 10 hit by pitches and 48 plate appearances is something else, though. More than 20% of the time you're getting plunked. 3-0 now, and Baxter with some words of encouragement from first base over to Marine. First base is open here, but you don't want Falby up.
Right. And you fall in behind, you don't want to pipe it right down the middle, but you do want to make her commit to something.
Ooh, her eyes widened up there, but she didn't get all of it. Hannah kind of jammed her. It's 3-1.
Coach Walton gave her the green light, and she missed it.
You could see in that cut, thought that was destined for the street. Instead, it's a 3-1 pitch. Still a good count for Goddard here. And she missed again as Marine staying inside on her.
And that's Hannah's strength. That screwball is Hannah's strength. She's able to keep riding that in on the right-handed hitters. Big pitch.
Trying to fight back and put away Goddard, get out of the jam. Payoff pitch. That's hit foul.
It's going to make the roof.
Yep. Got a couple of bounces off the roof and down to a young Florida fan out in left field.
With those nice asphalt shingles out there to just chew up the cover of that ball.
Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Marine goes upstairs and Goddard goes chasing.
Well done. You see the appropriate excitement out of Han Marine there. She goes upstairs. Uncanny. You know, the ability for the rich to get richer, if you will. You know, you have the players that are showing up well for their team, and then the next season it's very easy these days to get recruited out of your Division I school into another.
Cami Epley up at the plate for Stetson, swinging and missing through Rothrock's pitch. Rothrock working around a 2-route single in the first inning. Epley kind of operating as a second leadoff hitter of sorts in the 5-hole. Hitting .323, 16 stolen bases. Takes high for ball 2. Hatters have been patient with Rothrock. They're not chasing, making her throw strikes.
And I think that's a really good strategy. You know, make her come to you. Try not to, play too many games with it. Just make contact. But why not make her throw strikes first? Get her to work a little bit.
2-2 now to Cami after going after the rise ball there from Rothrock. Here's the pitch. Line foul. And this is more long at bats. Some good at bats so far by the Hatters against the rookie sensation.
Looking at the graphic a while ago, and the Hatters are 0-5 versus, top 10 or ranked teams this year, so to speak. But they have shown well versus them.
Epley ruled to have gone around there.
Yeah, tried to check her swing on that rise, wasn't able to. Was ruled to have gone.
So it's the second strikeout for Rothrock. One away here in the second.
She just allows the bat head to fly a little bit too much.
Here's Yvette Morgan. Having a nice year, hitting .304. Ahead in the count, 1-0. And she tries to hold up and cannot do so. It's 1-1.
Morgan brings a little bit of steadiness, I think, to this Hatter team, especially from the offensive side. Not too flashy, she doesn't get too excited, she doesn't get too down, she's just very steady.
Missed some time earlier this year. They've got her back now, making her 20th start of the season, and she gets hit by a pitch. Despite missing 9 games and not starting 16 games, she is the team leader in that statistic. 6 times she's been plunked this year.
Yes, as she was last year, I believe.
Yep.
Part of that is, she stands in on the plate a little bit, but she's definitely not afraid to wear it either. And I think teams with her swing decide that the best way to get her out is to jam her. And so they start working more and more in, and she just doesn't back off.
Morgan takes, or excuse me, Marissa Baxter takes a strike on the inside corner.
Be a nice time of the year for Baxter to really get going.
Yeah, she's shown flashes in her career. We get to put together that really good run of at-bats. Looked like she was going to hit for a lot of power. That has not entirely come to pass.
It's not too late.
No, it's the business end of the year, right?
Absolutely. Who cares what happened yesterday?
Takes up and away. It's 2-1. Jordan Stanfill, who has struggled with injury through her time at Stetson, back healthy, is on deck. 2-1 fouled back, 2-2. Another foul ball, another long, productive at bat here from a Stetson Hatter against Keegan Rothrock.
And the Hatters are holding their own in the box. You know, they're taking appropriate pitches with a couple of, rise balls late in the count, getting a little aggressive on that. But for the most part, they're forcing Rothrock to throw through the zone, taking their chances.
Pops up the 2-2. Out from third is Walsh to make the catch for the second out.
That one spent a little time in the air.
Just a bit.
It's the one you call as an infielder, and then you start thinking on the way down, do I really want this one?
That was up there long enough to start thinking about what you're going to have for dinner. Here's Jordan Stanfill. He's been limited to 11 games this year, 3 out of 23. First pitch is on the inside corner for a strike.
She was early in the year. She was showing some promise of having a much bigger bat than she's had the remainder of her career.
Yep, showed a huge power stroke, but has just been humbled by injuries throughout her time here in DeLand.
So hopeful that she can pick up where she left off early in the year as she's starting to get more healthy now, get her strength back.
0-2 to Stanfill from Rothrock. Struck her out. The riser works again. Rothrock with 3 strikeouts through 2, and she strands the 1-out base runner. On to the third, still scoreless here in DeLand. In the third. Worked out of trouble in the second. Falby walked to lead off the game. She takes down and away for ball 1.
Falby offered a couple of pitches in her first at bat and then really settled in and got patient. Worked herself onto a walk, and of course her teammates moved her around, but were unable to score her in that first inning.
And Florida has left 3 in scoring position through the first 2 innings of this game. When this team, if they get runners in scoring position, they tend to come in. Hannah Marine has kept them off so far.
Especially with less than 2 outs.
Falby, though, ahead 3-0 on Marine. It was a long at bat her first time up. This time, Hannah falling behind. She was behind 3-0 on Goddard in the second inning. Came back to strike her out, get out of the jam. This time it's a 4-pitch walk. Second walk of the game, both to Falby. And now the speedy junior center fielder is on as Skylar Wallace comes back up. Wallace having an unbelievable season. Look at these numbers coming into the game. Top 10 in the country in all 3 triple slash categories and runs. She scored 57 runs this year in 37 games.
That's a career.
And she has 24 stolen bases on 25 tries.
I would be interested in seeing, speaking of a career, the differences of the numbers in the decades. I mean, I'm sure you would see a steady increase.
Yes, offense is way up.
You know, I mean, from the time that college fast pitch started back in the 80s, till now is a steady increase. But even those are just gaudy numbers, even for today's time. Hannah needs to get back in her groove here, get back to doing what she does. And what you're really looking to do in a game like this is more control.
2-1.
Control
That's
the
outside.
Gators.
Yeah, so
Necessarily, your whole game plan is not to shut them down. That's you're happy if that happens, but you're more looking to control their chances.
this ball hit in the air towards deep left field, and the Hatters just watch it fly. They got Skylar Wallace out once, not twice. 9th of the year for the superstar Gator shortstop, and Florida is on the board 2-0.
Yeah, Hannah was able to get her to miss her first at bat, but she didn't miss anything about that one. She sat with that low outside pitch, drove that backside into it, and sent a no-doubter over the left center field fence. At that point, all you can do as a defense is make sure they touch all the bases.
Now Corby Otis grounded to shortstop her first time. Florida, after frustration the first 2 innings, is on the board with a 2-0 lead. Otis takes a strike on the outside corner. And Marine got herself in that trouble, the 4-pitch walk, and then got behind in the count to Wallace, and that is a recipe for trouble.
That is, especially with these sticks.
0-1 just misses.
I mean, she's had the first couple of innings, she's done really well at establishing her pitches and working the zone. In the first 2 batters, she's not stayed in that mold. A little check swing.
Yeah, a little excuse me foul ball there. Yep. It's 1-2.
I didn't mean to.
Now a 1-2 pitch from Marine. Inside, Otis laying off.
Good mix. What you got to love about Hannah, that she takes her little walk around the mound, shrugs her shoulders a little bit, jumps back on the mound, goes back to work.
Yep, sure does. 2-2 just outside. Been a tight zone today, I'll say that.
It's definitely not given anything just off the plate. Not expanding the zone at all.
Payoff pitch. Otis goes for it, and it's just foul. Would have been a hit.
I think so.
And Napoli letting it go over the line before fielding it.
With 2 strikes, the corners are playing back. So Napoli had a long way to go to get that. For all the gaudy power numbers the Gators have, they're not slow.
No, they do just about everything well. Otis with 10 steals on 11 tries this year, and now she's aboard as Marine has walked another.
Tried to come back and get her on that rise ball again. That's what she got her to take that little.
First pitch strike on the outside corner. Defense straight away. The 0-1 pitch way up and in. And Erickson did well to get out of the way. It's 1-1.
Buzz the tower.
That'll brush her back a little bit for sure.
That one just got away from Hannah.
Yeah.
Trying to throw that kind of screwball up and in. Just didn't come off the fingers the way she wanted to. I'm sorry, right curveball up and in.
That one just outside, 2-1.
Not sure where that one missed.
Yeah, it looked like a strike from up here.
Guess blue is right there on top of it, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
2-1. Popped up, left side of the infield. It's Foster over to make the catch. And a big first out for Marine here in the 3rd.
Well done. Great way to bounce back. You gave up the home run to Wallace. a little shake and walk the next one, but then you came back, got a big fly out of their number 4 hitter. See what she can do with Walsh this time around. She grounded up the middle last time.
Yep. Didn't hit it that hard, but kind of a
Just
seeing eye single for a base
just
hit.
in the right spot. I always say there are less defenders up the middle.
Walsh, of course, can hit the ball quite hard.
Yes, she can. No doubt that anybody on this team can hit the ball really hard.
That was her 15th single of the year, which is just 3 more than the home runs, and she might be adding another one here. It's deep to right field. It's off the base of the wall. Otis being waved around third. The throw comes in there and gets cut off. It's an RBI triple for Reagan Walsh, and the Florida lead is 3-0.
She did not miss that one by much. A little more out, a little less up. And she adds to her home run total. She didn't get all of this one, it didn't appear. She got pulled off of it a little bit, but got enough of the barrel to chase Sinaraki back to the fence, and took an unfortunate carom off the bottom of that fence.
Looked like Sinaraki thought it was a home run.
Yeah, I think she gave up on for a second.
Here's Kistler, who hit a hard single her first time. She takes down and in, another tight one for ball 1. So Florida getting their runs here in the third. A 2-run homer by Wallace, now an RBI triple from Reagan Walsh.
Her first triple of the year. She's starting another category.
So that's her 22nd extra base hit of the season to just 15 singles.
She don't want to waste any time on first base. That's what normal people do.
You're so far away from scoring.
Yes. No need to stop at first.
1-1 to Kistler, up and in, 2 balls and a strike. Infield playing in here for Stetson. They know how crucial it is to keep Florida from putting up a crooked number. Two-1 to Kistler. Bounces it foul towards the Hatter dugout.
Hannah did a great job of getting in on Kistler that time, kind of locking her hands up. Just a testament to the strength and the speed of these Gator hitters. They can get around on something that's virtually inside the box.
2-2. And that hit her, I think, or did it hit the bat?
Hit the knob, I believe.
Ooh, that's unfortunate for Kistler. Hit the knob of the bat and then bounced into the glove of Stanfield.
Of course, Tim asked if it hit her elbow, and the crowd is, of course, chiming in that it hit her, but Kistler didn't move.
Well, he called a ball, so it's 3-2. How could that be a ball?
Not sure how that could be a ball.
Yeah, he called a, well, wouldn't it be a foul tip strikeout if it hit the knob and Stanfield caught it?
You would think.
So,
but
I don't know how
unless it hit the knob and her.
Okay. Perhaps.
You know, like a double.
Yeah.
A double tap.
Perhaps. And, well, it's one down the right field line. Gone if it's fair. It is foul.
Foul ball.
Just wide of the pole.
Kistler's trying to do it all. We'll walk, no. We'll get hit by pitch, no. We'll strike out, no. Hit a home run.
No.
No. See what's next.
Yep. Got another opportunity at it.
It's one of the few frustrating things in going from coaching on the field to being in a press box. Is on the field, you get an explanation for things.
So they're going to keep Walsh on third base as Kistler pops out to shallow left field, 2 away.
Hannah got the job done. She jammed her a bit. Was able to pop her up into shallow left field, not deep enough for the runner to advance.
Here's Ava Brown, who popped up her last time, the superstar freshman. First pitch grounded to third, through the legs of Napoli, and the error will allow a run to score. Oh, it looked like Marine had gotten out of it, but instead Walsh comes in on the E5, and it's 4-0.
Yeah, Hannah did her job on this one. She got Brown to roll over Napoli just stopped coming forward, and you get that chopped up area over there at third base. Once it hits those tracks, it could go anywhere. In this instance, it didn't bounce up as she expected.
Here's Mia Williams, who grounded to short her first time, takes in the dirt.
Just a lesson for all you fielders out there. When you sit and wait, that's when you're gonna get the bad things happening to you. Be aggressive, go to the ball, not out of your shoes aggressive, but be athletic and going for it.
Williams, another player from fairly nearby, maybe an hour and a half away or so in Windermere.
Windermere. A lot of professional athletes in that area.
She's ahead 3-0 on Moraine. So anything that comes in for the remainder of the inning will be unearned. A rare mistake from Napoli, who is typically a strong defender over there at third. Got bucknered by that one.
She did.
3-0.
Not
That's
quite
a
as
strike at the letters.
not quite as costly as the Buckner.
No, that was in a slightly higher stakes situation.
The hike. You got 3-1. Mia Williams.
And Williams bounces right back to Moraine. Well, Florida gets 4 runs, 3 of them earned on just 2. Napoli, one of the best batting eyes on the team. On-base percentage well over 100 points higher than her batting average. It was true last year as well.
And following that error in the last half inning, you know, she really wants to help her team out and find a way on base here. She'll be using that eagle eye.
She's ahead 2-0 on Keegan Rothrock, who's really been kind of trying to paint the corners today. Has not been as aggressive as maybe you would have anticipated.
She's been a lot more quiet than I expected. And what I've watched from her earlier in the year, I mean, not that she herself is animated per se, but just I expected her to be popping the glove and popping the strikes a lot more frequently than we've seen her so far.
She does have 3 strikeouts.
She does.
Not take anything away from her. Misses inside, and
but it hasn't been, I guess I expected it to be a little bit more heavy-handed.
I'll say this, she's had 5 2-ball counts her first time through the order, 3 3-ball counts now. And that's a really nice frame job by the lefty catcher, Jocelyn Erickson. Love to see a lefty catcher.
I know for years people have, you know, argued against the lefty catcher. We had a lefty catcher when I was coaching. The only disadvantage really is, if you will, is a play at the plate. You're having to reach across yourself for a tag. But it's no disadvantage. Throwing the bases is actually an advantage for a pickoff at first. And typically when you're throwing to second, you're gonna, if you hold on to it too long, you're throwing to the first base side of the bag as opposed to the shortstop side.
Napoli draws her trademark walk, her 13th walk of the year. The only player on the Hatters with more is at the plate now, Foster. She takes a strike. Rothrock doesn't walk a ton of hitters, but she is liable to put a couple on per game. She's at 39 walks for the season now in 118 innings. Erickson unable to get the call this time. It's 1-1. You never see a lefty catcher in baseball. I mean, never. I can't recall one at the college level or above. In softball, you will find them. They're out there. In the case of Erickson, playing at the highest level.
I think that's only attributed to tradition. You know, you have baseball dads that are like, oh, you're a lefty. They want you to be a lefty hitter, but you're going to be a righty fielder, or you're automatically pigeoned to be a left-handed pitcher or a first baseman. Just that's tradition. Whereas in softball, there's a lot less of a mold, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, hey, we're going to just put you out there. If you're the best, you're the best.
Still don't really see lefty middle infielders in softball, though. That's a little hard to do.
That's still a difficult turn.
Yeah. 2-2 to Foster. And she takes upstairs, and another full count for Rothrock. The Hatters have really been patient with her and made her throw strikes.
And you see a little bit, every now and then, you see a little bit of a kind of a shoulder slump when she doesn't get a pitch she thought she was going to get.
Oh, nice read off the bat there by Falby, and tried to get the double play. The ball bounces up, backed up well by Erickson on a line out to center on what was easily the hardest hit ball of the game for the Hatters so far.
Yeah, nice job by Addison here, squaring up that pitch. Is a little bit too big on the plate. She gets on top of that high pitch. Unfortunately, Falvey's got all kinds of wheels. Does try to double up Napoli at first, but unsuccessful.
Here's Sinaraki. Grounded to third her first time after a good at bat. Takes off the plate for ball one.
For all your base runners out there, Napoli did a good job of getting a good aggressive secondary lead on that contact. So if the ball got down, she was going to, even if Falby short hopped it, she had a great chance of being safe at second. And then as soon as she knew the catch was going to be made, she busted it back hard to first.
They're going to talk to Rothrock here, Erickson.
Your veteran players are coming in around you saying, look, at the scoreboard, we're up 4-0. Throw it over the plate. Take our chances.
We'll see how she goes. 2-0. Oh, threw it over the plate. Sinaraki takes a strike.
Of course, you know, Wallace and Walsh, they want balls to play. They don't want to stand out there all day. They want to get in on the action. That's why they're in the positions they're in.
2-1 cued foul up the third base line.
I think back on my playing days, which were many, many moons ago, but I much preferred to play defense behind a drop ball pitcher that people just hit ground balls and put ball in play all day.
Here's a ball in play, but it'll hang up in the air for Otis, 2 out.
The Hatters making a little noise. Still unable to move their teammate, 2 unproductive outs, although Foster's was a seed.
Yeah, you can't be upset with a barrel like that. Looked like Sinaraki maybe got jammed a little bit.
Sinaraki lifted a little bit as well.
Here's Freeman, who has the lone Hatter hit, a base hit through the hole between first and second back in the first inning.
What a nice snag by Erickson behind the plate. Had to cross over that lefty body.
Managed to keep that one and prevent Napoli from moving up. Napoli has 8 steals this year on 9 tries. This Hatter team, as they almost always seem to be, very good running team. That's up and away. And when you don't have a lot of power in your lineup, you have to be aggressive on the base paths.
Manufacture. Cause some havoc.
It's another 2-0 count for Rothrock. Napoli running, and that pitch is fouled down the left field line.
It's not a bad swing by Freeman there. It's a little out in front of it. You'll see she kind of drug through the end of the swing because she was out in front. Still pulled it foul.
2-1 to Lath Freeman. Hatters looking to get their first run of the game.
Ball that just kept feeding in on her.
And that's inside, and another 3-ball count for Rothrock, who was up over 60 pitches here with 2 out in the third. Hasn't turned into anything yet, but Stetson has really made her work. But they've not progressed a runner past first base. And Freeman goes after the 3-1 that was probably ball 4 and fouls it off.
She goes after that rise and fortunately tips it back to the backstop.
The rise has been Rothrock's best pitch today and has fooled more than one Hatter hitter. See if she goes back to it here on 3-2. Napoli will be running. Here's the pitch, fouled off again and off the screen in right field.
Who does Florida have this weekend, do you know?
I will let you know momentarily.
I think the Hatters have Eastern Kentucky.
Ooh, big series. LSU at home, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
The Gators and the Tigers.
And then at Missouri, another Gators-Tigers series the following week. So 2 huge SEC series coming up. Ball 4, and the Hatters have first and second. And 2 out for Annabella McLaren as the Rothrock walks a second in the inning. Yeah, it doesn't get a lot easier.
Yeah.
They've got the Missouri series in South Carolina, who they'll be favored to beat, but South Carolina just got into the top 25, the 10th SEC team represented, and then they've got that Florida State game at home. Then they go to Georgia the next weekend as McLaren fouls off the first pitch, and then they have Florida State in Tallahassee that Wednesday. So it is really business time.
It's business time
for UF, and they close the year with A&M at home before the SEC tournament, which this year is in Auburn.
Of course, we're fortunate as fans to have a beautiful day today, and we're able to bless that the teams were able to switch the game from yesterday.
Yeah, they did a nice job
to today,
making that decision early too. They made that call on Tuesday, and yesterday was a complete washout. There was, I mean, it was obvious there was no way they were going to play.
For once, the weatherman was 100% right.
Yep, he nailed it. The dog kept me up. She did not like the thunderstorm.
The downside of that is these teams don't get a lot of rest going into the weekend. Fortunately, they're not traveling.
Yeah, Stetson will be home against EKU. Play the Saturday doubleheader and then the Sunday noon game. Their A-Sun series. 1-2 is popped up. Shallow left center. On comes Otis to make the catch, and that retires the side. So the Hatters get 2 base runners against Route 2 for Florida here in the 4th against Hannah Marine, who gave up 4 runs, 3 earned, I should say, in that top of the 3rd, but trying to keep her team in this game against the number 10 Florida Gators. Goddard struck out swinging her first time up, and it gets hit with the first pitch. And there you go, her 11th hit by pitch of the year in 50 plate appearances. Getting hit 22% of the time, and she's aboard to lead off the 4th.
She's the Gator version of Yvette Morgan. Not putting much effort into getting out of the way.
To an almost cartoonish degree. For reference, Yvette has been to the plate 63 times and has 6 hit by pitches. So even a player who gets hit a lot is getting hit less than 10% of the time. Goddard's at 22%. That is insane. Here's Falby, who's walked twice. Goddard runs, and Stanfield got that throw out way late. It's a good play at second base by Morgan to keep that from going to the outfield. It's a stolen base for Goddard, her 3rd of the year.
First of the night.
For either team, yes.
Yeah. That's something I thought we'd have a lot more of by now, as a stolen base attempts.
Falby grounds the pitch towards second. Morgan with the throw, not in time. Close play at first. I'd love to take another look at it, but give Falby an infield hit, and it's 1st and 3rd with nobody out.
Now she got that high chopper, and of course the whole time that she's running, Morgan's waiting, and the only thing Morgan could do any different is go up to get the ball, as opposed to she caught it, fielded it down by her waist, as opposed to up above her head. You give her that fraction of a second. And there goes Falby.
She runs, the throw down is in time. Stanfield guns down Kendra Falby. Just the 4th time she's been caught stealing all season. And there's 1 out here in the 4th.
Well done. On the runner before, I think Stanfield got it open too much. This time she was able to keep her hips and her shoulders closed, snap right through it. What a nice tag by Foster as well at second.
Throw from both knees, too.
A little surprised that Goddard didn't take off.
Yeah, I thought that was the play there, was the delayed double steal.
But I think with Falby, I think with so much speed, you just take for granted that you're going to end up with 2nd and 3rd. You know, why play the game? Because you're just going to end up with multiple runners in scoring position. And by the time they saw it was going to be a close play, it's too late.
1-1 now to Wallace, who homered her last time. Takes outside 2-1. And you hate to erase a base runner with Wallace at the plate, too. Especially when, I mean, Florida's got to be thinking that they've got a chance to make this a 5-inning game.
Exactly.
If they can score a little bit more and get out of here a little bit earlier.
I think they thought that was a no-brainer, especially with the...
And Wallace is going to pop out to shortstop. So Marine suddenly goes from a first and third with nobody out to just a runner on third and 2 out with Otis coming up.
Can't complain about that. But yeah, I think they thought they were going to move Falby over, and with the throw that Stanfield had versus Goddard's run, I think they thought it was a no-brainer. I mean, Falby running on versus anybody, for the most part, is a given.
Right.
She's going to get the base, but I think she slid a little bit late, and that explains the the pop off on the backside of the base.
Otis takes a strike, 0-1. Otis has grounded out and walked, scored a run, and she hits this ball in the air towards left field. That's pretty deep. It escapes over the fence for a 2-run homer.
Academic. I didn't think that one had the distance off the bat. It didn't have that crisp sound.
Oh, she got jammed on that pitch.
Looked like
she did not get all
of it. Barrel a little bit.
But just so strong that she muscles it over the fence for her 5th home run of the year, and it's 6-0.
Here we'll see it's up and in.
She actually got her bat head around so fast.
She got extended. I'm not sure she got the sweet spot, but she definitely got extended with bats these days, and the strength training that these kids are going through. It's easily, well, I should say easily out of the park. It wasn't as much as Skylar Wallace's, but cleaned up those bases really quickly.
This ball hit in the air, but foul. Out of sight down the right field line by Jocelyn Erickson, who's 0 for 2. So Otis following Wallace and homering off of Hannah Marine to make it 6-0 Florida.
Thinking back through that Falby steal attempt, it looked like she slid late. I'm wondering if she just didn't expect a throw.
Doesn't happen often.
No. It just looked like she went down really late.
She has been caught 4 times. It's not impossible, but it's
just improbable.
Very rare. 0-2 to Erickson. She gets jammed, pops it up. In comes Napoli, makes the catch and foul ground to retire the side. Hatters bringing 5, 6, and 7 to the plate against Keegan Rothrock, who has not been sterling, but has been more than good enough. She has scattered a hit, 2 walks, and a hit batter across 3 scoreless innings.
We're saying not sterling by her standards.
Exactly. No, she's been very good by
anybody else in the country.
Yes.
Or especially any other freshman pitcher.
It is amazing how the dialogue around these sort of prodigy kind of players gets going. You got a player who was the consensus #1 recruit in her class for years, is 15-3 with an ERA of 1.51 in her first college season. We're talking about her like she's been disappointing.
Yeah.
And is
has been anything but.
Right. Yeah.
She's given up one single
on a ground ball.
On a ground ball up the middle or through the 3-4 hole.
She's really given up one bit of hard contact to Addison Foster, and it was caught.
The one-line drive to center field is really the only hit with any authority today. And we're talking like she's just walking the runs in. But that's just how high the bar is.
Yeah.
And what her capabilities are.
She
speaks volumes for what her career is going to be going forward.
Has a chance to be an all-time great. Certainly on that sort of trajectory at the moment. 2-2 to Epley. Little cue ball down to short. That's easy pickings for Wallace. 1 out.
Epley made that one a little bit closer than they wanted it to be.
She can fly, no question about it. But Wallace, that strong arm, gets her by half a step. Now Morgan, who got hit by a pitch her first time up. The Go Evie Go chant coming from the Hatter dugout as Morgan waves through a high one for strike 1. Big cut and a miss. Rothrock dialing that one up a little bit.
Yeah. As a hitter, those pitches that are above the belt just look so good. And of course, with the rise ball, it just keeps tailing up.
It just keeps going.
And it's not necessarily terrible to swing at those, but you have to focus on getting above the ball.
That is what we were thinking we'd see from Rothrock. Just a dominant 3 pitches, 3 stringing strikes, her 4th strikeout.
She heard us talking about her. She was like, I'll show you. She's probably thinking, I've been working on something this whole game.
Yeah, exactly. She's just been experimenting.
I've been working on my 4, 5, and 6 pitch.
Wow, what a player. What a prospect.
But as I was saying, if you're going to swing at those high pitches, which is very enticing, you just got to make sure you're getting your barrel to the top half, or as if you want to hit a ground ball. You have to barrel that up with the top.
A one to Marissa Baxter. Popped to third her first time, and now she's behind 0-2 as Rothrock has suddenly started pounding the zone with her rise ball.
That one looked a little high for a call strike, which will bode well for Miss Rothrock, that rise ball, because now you can't afford to lay off of it if he's going to call it.
Florida second place in the SEC right now. Only Tennessee, who is ranked number 4 in the country, is above them. They're a game ahead of Georgia, who's ranked 3rd. Not sure what it's going to take for Florida to move up in the standings. But, I mean, ultimately that is a meaningless ranking. They're going to want to win the SEC, and that will take care of itself, and they certainly appear to have the team to do that.
And of course, it looks like, the majority of the SEC teams will get bids again this year.
They got 10 in the top 25 in the country right now.
If you've been watching SEC TV or any of the matchups on the weekends, it's almost like a slugfest every weekend as well. You've got a few pitchers that are doing a good job of consistently keeping the score down, but
present company included.
But that Saturday game might be a 11-12 game.
Well, even Rothrock was involved in one of those this last weekend. Lost 13-12, gave up 8 runs. Payoff pitch to Marissa. Baxter putting together a good at-bat here.
She is. Marissa has a load of just athletic ability. She could ever kind of put that with the right mindset at the right time. Become consistent with that.
She gets this ball in the air to left, chasing Otis back. She'll make the catch just a step in front of the track. And it's a 1-2-3 inning, the first of the game for Keegan Rothrock. Florida can shorten this game up. The wall and right her last time. 4 innings for Hannah Marine. 6 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned on Marine's ledger. Had 2 very costly walks in the 3rd inning, 3 overall, and just 1 strikeout for Marine on the day against Florida. The numbers on Ash are not great, but she has been terribly unlucky. She's had 16 runners reach, and 13 of them have scored. That is usually you strand about 60 to 70% of your runners. That is remarkably low. So you got to think that ERA is going to get a little bit better. Fortunately, though, a 4-pitch walk to Walsh to start things off, and that's the one thing she hasn't been doing. That's just her 2nd walk as a college pitcher in 10 2/3 innings.
I think just being a little too careful right there with Walsh. And I think the stats you were talking about earlier is attributed a lot to being a freshman, letting one thing become 2 things, becoming 3 things, and perhaps not getting the help from your defense, if you want to say it. I'm not saying that the Hatters don't want to help, but sometimes you give up a walk or you give up a hit, and all of a sudden you give up something hard again.
Right.
And that becomes a seed. Your defense is back on their heels a little bit.
Ms. Kistler is 1 for 2. She hit a seed in the 2nd inning for base hit. Popped up her last time. Ash misses down and away for ball 1. You want to feel old? Ash has a 2005 birthday.
I feel old around all of you guys, even you.
This is the time in my life where I'm starting to feel old.
And I've got players that have grandkids that are probably playing at this point. But
Ash out of Fort Myers,
a good
3-time first-team All-Area.
Good change on the mound here for Coach Cousins, bringing in a whole different look from Ash. Still the same side, righty and righty, but she also brings that element of the changeup that Hannah doesn't present.
There's 1, down and away, 2-2.
So being able to work side to side, down, and change is an element that the Gators haven't seen today.
2-2 to Kistler. And she hits it in the air, but foul down the right field line. We'll do it again. Two and two to Kistler. Had that 5 RBI game against Stetson. Another changeup down.
Still not getting much on those edges of the plate.
Payoff pitch. Popped up behind second, and I don't know what the runner is doing. It's a double play. Why was Walsh just stranded between first and second? Why did she keep going?
I think it was a hit and run. Or I'm not sorry, not a hit and run, but a run on the hit, run on contact. And I think she just got lost. I don't think she knew where the ball was. So by the time she realized that Morgan was going to make the catch, it was right on top of her head.
Bizarre play.
Yeah.
Well, Ash will certainly take it in 2 quick outs.
You'd think that she would be able to pick up a base coach or hear somebody to get her no, but you could see in the replay she was just kind of spinning around looking for the ball. I think she just got stuck, stranded, not knowing where it was.
Pinch hitter here for Ava Brown. Brooke Barnard get a chance to hit. She'll take ball 1.
But all that was a lot easier to see on the replay than live, because of course live you're watching the ball and trajectories and all that stuff.
Barnard is a junior from Palm Beach Gardens in her 3rd season with the Gators. She's been a utility player in her Gator career. Mostly a pinch runner in her career. 2 of 9 at the plate this season. And she's ahead 3-0.
Ash has got to find her strike zone. Not the middle of it, but the edges of it.
Yeah. 3-0 to Barnard. There you go.
That works.
Barnard bat on her shoulder the whole way. It's 3-1. Sun just about set behind right field here at Patricia Wilson. Lights coming on. Picture perfect night. 3-1 is on the inside corner. Good pitch there from Victoria Ash.
If you haven't taken the opportunity to come to DeLand and to Patricia Wilson Field, you ought to do it. The field is spectacular. The facility is spectacular. All the brainchild of Frank Griffin all these years of procuring and building and improving year after year after year. It's a pristine playing environment.
One of the best fields in the country.
Ladies.
It gets named the field of the year all the time.
Yes.
4-time winner of the STMA College and University Field of the Year award.
It's not as flashy as some of the SEC or like Oklahoma's new stadium. It doesn't have, quite the gaud that those have, but kind of that old-time charm to it.
Yeah, it's intimate.
And your proximity to the players is just phenomenal.
I mean, even us here in the box, we're right on top of the action.
Yeah.
It's another pinch hitter, Ariel Kowalewski, hitting for Mia Williams.
Sorry. Visiting teams always come in and make comments about the surface itself.
Kowalewski hits one in the air towards left center. That's back to the track, off the scoreboard and gone. Ariel Kowalewski gets the key 8th run with a 2-run homer. The freshman has hit her 5th of the year.
It's a good piece of hitting here. She stays in, keeps that front side in, goes with this outside pitch. You see she keeps her hands in, explodes out through the ball, head down, hits it right off the scoreboard for the decisive,
for now,
8th run. Exactly.
Kowalewski is the usual first base starter. She has been trading with Goddard, who's up at the plate now, but had gone into a bit of a slump lately, and Goddard getting a little bit more playing time. But there you go. There's another big-time freshman in this order.
In this game, as they have in the last couple of games that I've noticed, they've They've listed Goddard as the first baseman. They swapped Brown and Goddard as soon as the game starts. But that gives them the freedom of, if they put Brown into the mound,
right,
then Goddard can go back to first base. So she's technically not the first baseman in the game. She's the DP or the OP.
It's down to Goddard, 2-1. Two-1 is hit in the air towards second. It should be, or towards short, I should say, and Foster's over to make the catch. Side retired, but extend the game to a 6th inning after the 2-run homer by Kowalewski in the top of the 5th.
Yeah. And as the Hatters, you would take home runs, but you go up to the plate in this inning just trying to pass the bat. Get on base, pass the bat to the next teammate, and keep moving around the bases.
Final line on Keegan Rothrock. 4 innings, no runs, a hit, 2 walks, a hit batter, 4 strikeouts. Another day at the office for Florida's superstar freshman. Stanfield grounds one to short. There's Skylar Wallace, a high throw. Tag applied by Goals, and there's an out. Nice play by Avery Goals, who just came into the game at first base after Wallace kind of airmailed the throw.
Wallace gets a hot shot over here and comes up, just lets it go early. Goals does a great job of coming up and then coming down and making the tag.
All over the place.
They reword that part of the rule book almost every year, and every year they make an absurdity out of it. It's like it's just common sense. You know, if the defender's taking away the baseline without the ball, without a play on the ball, then it's obstruction. If they're making a play on the ball and or they have the ball.
Napoli trying to bunt her way on, fouls it off, 1-1.
I was watching a game, I think it was the LSU game the other night, and they got the runner in third and a run down. The throw comes back to the pitcher who's standing in front of the plate. She has the ball 3 feet in front of the plate, and the runner is still running towards her another 3 steps, and she tags her, and then they ask to check the play for obstruction.
One-two. Napoli cues it foul.
Catcher interference.
Oh, there you go. So Napoli is aboard on the catcher interference by, it's actually a new catcher for Florida. They've taken Erickson out of the game. We should have caught that. She's a right-handed catcher now. It's Emily Wilkie is back there. So Wilkie called for the catcher's interference, and that puts Napoli on as a 1-out base runner, and Foster takes a ball. Addison Foster hit it very harder last time up, a line shot to center that was caught. 0 for 2 also with a strikeout.
Yeah, she couldn't hit it any harder than she did. Just unfortunate that it was in Falby's reach.
Two-1. Little bouncer foul up the left field line. Get a 2-2 to Addison Foster. And another foul ball. We'll do it again. Olivia Miller trying to shut the door for Florida. 8-0 Gator lead. You know, they'd love to get back on the bus and get ready for that huge series they've got coming up this weekend against LSU.
It'll be Beth Torina's homecoming. She was a pitcher for the Gators back more towards their beginnings.
Just foul for Foster. Narrowly missing a base hit.
Miller has come in and she's fed the strike zone. She's done what you want every relief pitcher to come in, especially with an 8-run lead. You just feed the zone.
Grounder up the middle, off the glove of Miller, and everybody's safe. Should be a base hit there for Foster, who I think probably would have had a single up the middle anyway, and they do rule it a hit. So the Hatters have 2 aboard with 1 out.
Yeah, Miller does a good job just getting a glove on this. I don't think either of her middle infielders would have been able to glove it had she let it go. It's more of a self-defense, to be honest, but you like it when your pitchers can slow things down, at least coming through the middle.
And that one gets away, but Wilkie able to get back on top of it. Sinaraki steps in 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out.
A little indecision on the Hatter base runners. Between the catcher and the hitter, they couldn't tell exactly how far away it was.
As a base hit for Sinaraki into left field, and the bases are loaded.
Hatters have something cooking.
Olivia Miller, talented, certainly enough to pitch at Florida, but the Hatters are getting to her a little bit. The catcher interference started this, and now back-to-back hits from the top 2 in the order. Those 2 talented rookies. And now Freeman, the grad transfer, who has been on twice today, will try and extend this game here for Stetson.
This is what we were talking about at the beginning inning. Just pass the bat, just find a way to get on base, whether it's a walk, hit by pitch, singles, obviously always work. But put the bat on the ball, make something happen, give your team a chance.
The 1-0. Grounded towards second. They'll go home for the force. 4-2 at the plate. And that'll bring the Hatters for now to their last out in the form of Annabella McLaren. Smart play by
Williams. Is it still Williams?
No, that's not Williams. That's Reagan Walsh is over there at second, right? Because
they pinch hit for Williams.
Well, Kowalewski came in at third.
Yes.
They made a lot of changes.
They did make a lot of changes and not announced to us.
Yeah. We're figuring it out as we go. McLaren takes a strike. She's 0 for 2. A fielder's choice and a pop out.
Of course, if you're Miss McLaren at the plate, you're still thinking, I mean, obviously, again, you'll take the home run, but you're thinking just keep the inning going.
Ground ball, third base. They tap the bag, and that's the ball game. McLaren grounds into the fielder's choice, and Florida with an 8-0 run rule victory over the Stetson Hatters. The Gators now 32-5, only
Yo, listen up, I'm about to paint with words. A lyrical poet flying with the birds. Pen in hand, mind full of dreams. Writing rhymes that make souls gleam. From the ink on the page to the beat in my heart, I'm a wordsmith playing my part. Spinning tales like a web of silk. Crafting verses smoother than milk. I'm a poet, rhythm in my veins. Ink in my pen, igniting flames. From the depths of my soul to the stars above. I'm a poet, spreading peace and love. In the silence of night, my words take flight. Painting pictures in black and white. Metaphors dance, simile sway. In the world of poetry, I'll find my way from sonnets to haikus. I explore the range. In the realm of language, nothing stays the same. Every stanza a journey, every line a tale. In the universe of verse, I never fail. I'm a poet, rhythm in my veins, ink in my pen, igniting flames. From the depths of my soul to the stars above. I'm a poet, spreading peace and love. So next time you hear my words, listen close, for in each verse there's a treasure to enclose. I'm a poet, storyteller, keeper of the flame. In the world of rhyme, I'll forever reign.